Okay, this whole video is going to be handheld because that's the only way I can get this whole book into the picture. So I mentioned the Villa of Insanity in my last video, and I tried to show you a picture of it from this book. It's called The World of Lego Toys. I've talked about where I got it before. I got it from my tour of the Stratford company, Stramsonite, back in the day. The vice president of marketing, Jack E. Chessman, invited me over there, and I won't go into the rest of the story, but when I was there, they gave me some free swag. This book was one of the things that I got from him, and it was very sweet, and it is honestly one of my favorite books, and you can almost see that I've used it a lot. It's even got some water damage on it now, which is kind of sad. But it's from 1987. I didn't bother looking up on the internet today to see if you can still buy this book or get it secondhand from the secondhand market. But this is not an encyclopedia. This is not a one story. Well, let's just go through the chapters. And you can see, look at those beautiful pictures. And look at these, and I have those bricks. The World Lego Toys by Henry Weincheck. Publishing New York. And you can see basically the era that this was published with the second supercar. Well, actually, this would be the third supercar. So I think it says 1987. We did Lego Wars, I believe, in 84, 85, and we did one in 86. And by the time it got to Stratford, it was around 1987. And I had my license then too, so I got to drive out there. So So it talks about the history of the Lego company, the ideas of the Lego company, how they make it, the theory of a toy, so the psychology behind it. I like that. Lego bricks in the classroom, so education. This is pre-RCX, but it has some, I think, TC logo, which again I have back here. The brick meets the computer, and the art of Lego bricks and Legoland Park and building instructions. Now, building instructions, let's go straight up, it's a complete, I won't say complete waste of time, but these are basic sets. See, this is the 6980, and it's not even the entire thing. So, and some stuff from the town and the airport. So, they basically cut and pasted instructions of the era, and they just put them in the book. So whatever, that's meaningless to me. But the book is awesome. I've read through this book numerous times, but I'm not going to talk about the entire book. We're gonna skip straight through to. We're gonna look at a few things all over the world. Lego everywhere. I did a review of that set a few months back. This was the tour back in the day. I saw this once. It's absolutely gorgeous. The beginning of the factory, kids builds. I remember doing this kind of stuff. So space. So let's just get over to, we're not even going to talk about the brick meets the computer, which I always thought was a good chapter, because it's like TC logo and stuff. Let's get into the art of the Lego bricks. So somebody replied to the last video and wanted to see some of these pictures. And so if I didn't read this thing right before here, but I read it 20 years ago. The Lego company approached artists and architects to build whatever they wanted with their brick. And so this one is one of the dream houses designed for the traveling exhibition that opened in 1985 at the Pompidou Center in Paris. This imposing Casa Weinbrenner is the work of German architect Hans Robert Heigl. He described it as a house to gather friends, a house to retreat into. The entire ground floor is a vast banqueting hall. The owner resides on the top 2 floors. So this is it. Bricks available at the time, trans dark blue, light gray, white, and huge number of gray parts. So these guys basically had, quote unquote, unlimited access to parts. And at the time, even the cypress trees, again, I like the little flags. So that's a nice one. This was a nice one. I actually wanted to try to build this myself at the time. Of course, I wouldn't have all the parts, but I figured out I could use 1.5 48 by 48 base plates. But this is the one I really wanted to try, and I could probably build this now. I really like the look of this guy. Again, this is the British architect Eric Owen Perry built Villa of the Physicists, which he imagined as an appropriate setting for Friedrich Dürrenmatt's play The Physicist. Perry had said the building with Lego bricks is similar to playing chess or composing music. I really enjoyed this one. It's one of my favorite builds in this book. I just like the way they did the 2x3, 1x2x3x1 slopes on the side here. Really, really nice. I didn't like this one as much back when I was a kid. I thought it was too clowny, too circusy, but it looks really, really good. This one is more esoteric architecture. It's called Ketya Lafitte, the French architect of La Maison du Philosophe de Militarise, describes her creation as a black sheath, aloof, polished, poised, without balance, without rigidity, ordered, without regulations. Entering the house necessitates a scary climb up an outdoor stairway without banisters. So you walk up here and you go out and that's on your house. I thought it was odd. This is what we were talking about the other day, where it has these 8x8 stud wide radar dishes, and one in each corner, I would presume. Blue, black, yellow, and trans. I guess it's trans clear with a light inside, and then more trans gray, and then lots of cypress trees. And actually, I just noticed this, and I probably noticed this when I was a kid. The 8 stud radar dishes even continue inside. So there's a lot more than 200 radar dishes in this guy. There's no way I'm going to build that ever, but it's kind of neat. And then you get into artwork, where they combine Lego with other medium, like clay and stuff. Some sort of, I don't know what that is. Heinz Klein Clopres uses Duplo bricks to create life-size sculptures that seem playfully friendly yet menacing at the same time. Icarus 2 falls from the sky at left above his work sculptor and opposite page mounted sculptor. So Duplo bricks with other things. So now we're getting to the artsy stuff. Not even Lego, but Lego prints. The Danish sculptor Robert Jacobsen made an etching titled Recycled Lego by first pressing bricks and parts of molds onto a copper sheet. He added lines with an etching needle, pressed the copper onto paper, and colored the paper by hand. That's interesting. This is fantastic. I can build that. It does go into the idea that even the ancient Greeks builders used decorative elements that look remarkably like top surface of Lego. So it's ancient Greek. The contemporary sculptures of Wolfgang Hahn, such as the stool partly enclosed in bricks, are not intended to be merely decorative. Instead, they startle the viewer by altering familiar objects in strange ways. I like this one, and I believe they put a TV set inside. The stepped construction of transparent bricks glowing with the light of a television set. Yes. Trans dark blue, all 1x2s. Always like that. This guy is just a bunch of black bricks, and it's in a bathroom somewhere, or a washroom somewhere. He designed one sculpture for the corner in the university shower room, a space he liked because he was fascinated by the coldness of the tiles. So, you know, artists like things. This one is really cool. This was in the Lego office itself. It is a swordfish, but it's 100% Lego. That reminds me of a quick tangent. When we got to do the tour of Buttonville, when the Lego Canada moved to Buttonville, and they invited RTL Toronto there for an afternoon. There was Canadian geese built like this, attached to the wall in flight and made out of Lego. And those were gorgeous as well. I remember that you can get the various, and this is back in the 80s. So this is not with the 17,000 different color palettes that we have now. This is the standard colors: white, red, gray, blue, yellow, black. And they built that with the standard colors that they had back then. Absolutely gorgeous. I think this is in Denmark itself, at the Legoland. Robert Jacobsen 12-foot high tribute to the brick entitled Lego was completed in 1976 and installed on the grounds of the Billund offices. So this is was in 1987 at the offices in and then we go into Legoland Parks. So again, this is Mount Rushmore. You got some other things in here. They show you the various different things that are in the Legoland Parks. Again, back then there was not too many Legoland Parks like there are now, modeled after real world places. That's awesome. So, and just just absolutely, and how they built it in the first place using big cranes. That's utterly fantastic there. I will say, and this is the original design of the Legoland Park in Denmark. The original plan for the park, sketched, penciled by Arnold Bottrup in the mid-1960s, called for the simple layout with only a few models on display. The company was astounded by the instant success of the park, which has grown in popularity and in the number of attractions since 1968. So this is one of the first model builders. I think that's the two creative spirits behind the formation of the park were Dagny Holm, who supervised the Lego brick construction of many of the buildings and the other sculptures, and Arnold Bottrup, the original designer. So those are the two people who started Legoland in Billund. This is the one. I love this scene. I tried to make some of these buildings when I was younger. I like this the roof here. I like the paddle wheel. I absolutely adored this book, and I just kept on glancing through the pictures when I was for the last bunch of years. And this is, of course, an overview of the entire park back in the day. A giraffe. And then the displays on the inside, capsules and stuff like that. Oh, and then we get over here. This was a really good build too. I really like this, especially the landscaping all the way up. And you see this big building. The Belgian architect Dennis van Emp designed a dune dwelling for a European gentleman. The roof of the palace forms a stairway that runs down to the sea, from culture to nature, from reality to the dream. So you can see down here, the stairs go all the way up to the top, and it's basically the roof of the building. And we're back to stuff and the last page, and then you get into the instructions. So that's the art side. There's lots of other things in this book that are kind of interesting. It talks about a lot of history. It talks about why the theory of a toy and how they directed at helping kids' imaginations. They also talk about the safety concerns and how they try to make sure no kid can choke on Lego pieces and stuff like that. How the factories worked back then. Again, it's dated now. The color palettes, all that other stuff, how they make minifigs, the granules, all that stuff that we heard about before, how they used to make Lego back in the day. They'd have to order the colors specifically. Now they can just make whatever colors they want just by basically, like, you shake up stuff in a paint can. The molds, so it's a lot of information. It's dated information, obviously, because it's from 1987. But it is a lot of. I had that set. So I really liked having this book, especially for free. The old Lego Tires, and I read it from cover to cover. The Duplo versus Lego, the original Lego sets way back in the day, and I think they even have a chapter going back. Well, again, I don't know if they showed the wooden. Yeah, here we go. The wooden toys, the baby rattles that they used to make way back when. My friend Bill, that used to do shows with us at Brick Fat, had a lot of the original Lego wooden toys. So it has a nice history, some nice photographs of the original, a picture of the original factory. I have that set. So, here's a nice picture too, a villa. I don't know. It's a nice book. It's a little dated. Again, it's from 1987, so it's 30 plus years ago. I don't know. So I saw this picture and I thought it was the set that I had, but I honestly think this was an idea before it became a set. Outer Space is credited with a variety of bizarre Lego vehicles because it has these blue wings on it, and the actual walker did not have blue wings. So I'm not sure if this set was an idea that they got from somebody and they turned it into a set, or if this was a set and they just decided to change the graves to the blue. I'm not quite sure. It really doesn't say here for the walker. So you guys somebody wanted to see the picture of the architects and stuff like that. There's a lot of information in this set, in this book. As I say, it is a little dated. A lot of it's changed. Lego has expanded a lot since 1987, but historically speaking, this is a wonderful book. It goes in the history of Lego. It talks about how they develop toys and the mindset behind the stuff they produce and back in the day. I really, really, and I can't say this enough. I've always loved Lego, the brick, as well as what I conceive of as the mentality of the company, how it presents itself. Now, have they made missteps? Absolutely. There's not a company on the planet that doesn't make missteps. And have I been shaking my fist in the general direction of the Lego company? Yes, I have. But in the end, I am less caring of that. I've said this, and I've been on record saying if the company disappears tomorrow, I will be sad, but I'm not going to get rid of my collection. I have a massive Lego collection. And again, most of my Lego collection comes from the secondhand market now. So if the company disappeared tomorrow, it's not going to affect my hobby and my appreciation of what they produced until now. Nor is it going to dissuade me from keeping on doing shows and stuff. I don't think they're going anywhere. They make a gazillion dollars a year. They're not at all in the mindset of disappearing off the face of this earth. I do believe that they recently, and this is just my perspective, and I can see where I am wrong already because they are still making a lot of sets and they're still selling out a lot of sets, and they're directing their energies towards it's not even a niche market, it's the big market of Star Wars and themes and IPs where people are going to buy these sets because they're a known entity. I personally am not interested in that stuff. I am interested in basic. I'm interested in classic space, obviously, and Technic. But at this point, I mean, they have the cheap sets, but they also seem to be focusing a lot on the $299 plus sets. When I was a kid, the most expensive set they ever produced was the monorail, and that was like $150. Then the RCX came out, and that was $300, and that was the most expensive set they have. But now they're releasing sets over 4 digits, right? Over $1,000. The latest app for Star Wars is $969 Canadian or whatever it is. The world map, thousands of dollars. The Coliseum, $899. The Millennium Falcon, $899. It seems that but people buy them. So again, I'm not going to fault their business plan. I am not going to fault their business plan. They are making money, and as long as they keep on making money, they're going to keep on making Lego sets. So the longer they make Lego sets, the more I'm going to be able to buy Lego sets. They're not focused on me, and that's perfectly to me acceptable. They don't have to focus on me. I am not their market. I am old school. I am the 5 basic colors they had back then: the black, white, red, yellow, blue, and sometimes gray. That's the market that I grew up in, and that's the market I, quote unquote, am stuck in. I do not build too much outside of that range. Again, right now it is classic space, and all the other space sets to $19.99, and Technic back then. I've had older videos that show you all the Technic sets, the original Technic sets from 1977, 1978. My fondest memories are getting Lego for Christmas from the early to mid 70s into the early 80s, and those sets that came out pre-minifigs. I showed you some of the older sets that I found, and I'm just excited to find them. But that's not their market. Every company has to advance to today's market. They're not going to making any money off of me. They're really not. They're going to make money off of what sells, and what sells is $899 Millennium Falcons. That's what sells. So Star Wars IP, which I could not care less about. I bought a lot of Harry Potter back in the day, but again, I'm not buying it now because it doesn't mean anything to me. Ninjago, we buy Josh, so we are still buying new Lego sets, but not for me, but for Josh, to collect the minifigs. Absolutely keep on pumping them out because every once in a while I'll buy one, but they fly off the shelves, and so the Lego knows what they're doing. I think they made a few missteps. The color change was a bad step, but I can see now that it is brighter and more colorful for people to buy. And would they still have the same sales if there was still the old dark gray and old light gray that it looks like brownish instead of the bright bluish? I don't know. And I did not care about it then as much when it happened the first time, because again, I have all the pieces I wanted, so it didn't matter to me. Um, but they did it, and it's their business to do what they want with. They're not customizing their market to me. They're customizing to market the way they think they're going to make money and keep the company going. And as long as they do it in a I don't want to say justice. As long as they keep on doing what they can, they come up with the new bricks that are made 100% from plant-based. So they're not, digging oil out of the ground. So all the plants are made from plants, which I think all the trees and all the flowers they're making now are made from plants. So they're being ecologically better. They're reducing their carbon footprint. They're doing a lot of things that I appreciate, and I thank them for doing that. So in the end, I'm not going to fault them. I'm not going to fault them for not making the stuff I want them to make. And nor do I need them to make the stuff I want them to make, because I can get the stuff I want from the secondhand market. And obviously I seem to be quite successful at doing that. So it's no sweat off my nose what they're doing. And I am happy they're doing what they're doing, because some of my friends are now employed by the Lego company for various things. And the Lego company is doing all these shows throughout the world, and they're doing whatever they can. And could they pay more attention to us fans? I don't know. I'm not here to make that determination. I had my dealings with the Lego company back when I made Lego Wars. It did not leave a bad taste in my mouth, but of course it didn't end well. And I'm not faulting them for that. They have to protect their IP. They have to protect their trademarks and stuff like that. And but in the end, I made a great story. And in the end, I accepted that they had all the authority in the world to do what they did. And in the end, I got this book. And in the end, I have a great story to talk about now. So I'm very happy with this hobby. I'm very happy with the people I know in this hobby. I'm very happy with the people I've met through this hobby. I have some really good and dear and wonderful friends that I've made over the last 25 or, well, I guess 22 years online now and in real life because of this hobby. And I wouldn't change a thing. I honestly wouldn't change a thing. I've mentioned this numerous times that back pre-internet, for me, I was the only one on the planet playing with Lego past the age of 12. So, and yet I wouldn't give it up. Now I found a whole bunch of like-minded individuals that are around my age that play with Lego as much or more so than I do. Because again, I'm not a casual fan, but it's not my whole life outside of work, and to some people it is. This is their entire hobby, their entire social structure is Lego. I don't think anybody I know does that, but I know of people who this is, and all the power to them. This is what they want to do with their time, and I'm happy for them, and I'm happy when they bring me along on their stories and their builds and all the stuff that they do. Again, if they're, this is what I always go to, if they're walking in this way, they're doing what they want to do, and I think it's really neat, I'm going to follow them for a while. I'm going to walk with them for a while. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter where you are on the planet. It really doesn't. So if you're doing something and you're posting on Instagram and you're posting on YouTubes and you're posting wherever, and it's interesting to me, I'm going to follow you for a bit. We're going to walk together. And if we want to talk, we're going to talk. And if I just want to just lurk in the background and look at what you're building, that's fine too. And if you want to lurk in the background and look what I'm doing here on my YouTube channel, that's perfectly acceptable. There's no expectation from me to you to tell you what you should be doing with me. And there's no expectation that you can impose on me that I'm going to follow if I don't want to follow. This is completely for my personal life. I'm perfectly libertarian, not for my political life, because I'm 100% socialist. Socialist in the Canadian way. But for my personal life, my personal walk, I am walking this way. If you want to walk with me, and I've said this, I almost repeated myself so everybody's sick of me saying it, but I'm walking this way. If you want to walk with me and you want to say, hey, Dave, this is really cool, that's fantastic. I want those kind of conversations. If you don't want to say a word to me, that's also fantastic. It's you're not hurting my feelings by saying nothing to me. You're not, oh, I wonder if all these people want to say something to me. No, I genuinely want you to do what you want to do. I want you to liaise with me how you want to liaise with me. If I don't like how you're liaising with me, I'll let you know. If you make, and I said this before, if you make demands from me that I don't want to do, I'm going to be straight with you. I'm not going to do that. But somebody said on my video that I posted the other night, "Oh, Dave, I saw that in the book that you've showed me that picture of the book of the Villa of Insanity. What's all that about?" And I said, "Oh, I can show you because there's a book, right?" So it's one of my favorite books, and I'll talk about anything. So it's like I will talk about anything. I'll talk about this picture and how much it meant to me when I was a kid when I read through this book the first time. And I said, I remember looking through this book and I saw that and I said, holy moly, those are 8 stud wide radar dishes. And other people who knew me at the time, what's Dave talking about? Like why is that? Cypress trees, why is that so important to Dave? Are you kidding me? So you guys get it. You guys get the cypress trees. You guys get the eight stud wide radar dishes, and there's like well more than 200 in here. It's kind of neat, right? It's a microcosm of the time when this book was produced and the people that were doing stuff. We didn't have any master builders at the time back in 1987. Everything the Lego company did was done by the Lego company. They weren't soliciting people. There's no Lego ideas. There was no Lego outreach. I know that a lot of people sent pictures into the Lego company. I used to be part of that newsletter. When you bought a new Lego set in Canada, anyway, it came with that little envelope that says, "Hey, mail $5 and you become part of the Lego fan club, the Lego Canada fan club," whatever it was. And then they send you back a little package that had an iron-on for your T-shirt, and every 3 months you would get a newsletter that had pictures, half-toned pictures of half-tone pictures of kids building stuff. They would have the competition. Hey, build this, build that, and whatever. And you would see, in the 0 to 6 category, or the 4 to 6 category, and the 7 to 10 category, whatever. And it was fun to get. It was, hey, I'm part of this Lego club. Back in 1984, I'm part of this Lego club. This is great. I didn't have the ability to take a picture of any of my stuff back then. My dad had a very fancy camera, and we weren't going to waste film on what I was doing. And I didn't think of even asking him to take pictures of anything I was doing back then, until we made the movie Lego Wars. And I think there's a few pictures that Jake took of us making Lego Wars, but that was far after I was part of the Lego club. But I was going somewhere with this and then completely lost my tangent. Anyway, Lego means something to me. The company means something to me. But again, my life is not contingent on if the company's here tomorrow. I hope it is. And I'm going to support them the way I can support them by, doing nice shows and talking good about the company. I have on Lugnet, back in the day, I've posted a few times when people were, the Lego company, and I'm going, dude, like they don't owe you lunch. It is their company. They can do with it as they please. So far, they haven't done anything to piss me off. And if they piss me off, then I'm going to stop buying their product. Right? But again, they're not doing it. And again, if they started being, not this would ever happen, this completely malicious, malcontent, ecological damaging company, the worst company ever produced, and people are quitting left, right, and center. Oh, well, that's your company. Do what you want with it. Like it's not going to affect me at all. I still have my parts and pieces behind me. I don't have to buy one more piece the rest of my life if I don't want to. But they are showing overall my entire life with Lego has shown me that they actually do have a care for people. They do have a care for the environment. They've shown that. They do have a care for making kids smarter and more creative. That goes without saying. They have a care for a high quality product. And again, people can bring up the specifics. Oh, I got the set and the pieces were crap. Understood. Stuff happens. I'm not letting them off the carpet for that. Make sure there's remediation so it doesn't happen again. I'm not one of these apologists, but I am saying you can't use individual anecdotes to trash the company as it entirely is. Because I have friends and acquaintances that have worked for the company that have had really good dealings with the company, and I've had some friends that had some pretty mediocre and some bad dealings with the company. But that's with every company, because it's a company, right? But I still have friends that work for the company today. So it's not like I'm gonna, oh, the Lego company because you did my friend wrong. No, that's whatever. They moved on. It didn't affect me too much. Whatever. But I treat my whole life that way, really, unless somebody's being malicious. Malicious intent, and what this is a whole tangent that I don't even have to go down. So far, overall, in my liaising with all the companies that I've worked with or liaised with over my life, this company right here has overall been a lot more positive than negative. Straight up, they have, to me. Even though they sent the legal department after me, but again, really, I deserved it. So I'm not gonna talk about it again. This has gone for half an hour. I'm gonna cut it now. If you want me to look at this book again in a different video, and you want to look at some other pictures or something that you saw that I just kind of glanced through really quickly, and you want, I don't even know if this book is online and downloading it a PDF or file, but I mean, I'm not going to scan into a PDF for you. That's not what I plan on doing for anybody. So, but it's a really good book. I do recommend, if you have the means to get one. I don't know how you would get one now, but I liked it, and I'm sure there are newer books now, because I got some Christmas a few years back, Standing Small, some other books that were produced by DK or whatever. That's a company that always seems to employ Deborah, our good friend Deborah, to make stuff, publications. That actually, when I looked through some of those books, they covered a lot of the same stuff that's in here, except this newer stuff. So if you have those newer books, that basically covers what this book did back in 1987 in its entirety. So that's it. That's all. I'm going to shut up now because I'm tired, and it's almost midnight. So I'm going to say good night to everybody. I want everybody to stay safe. I want everybody to appreciate who they know and who they appreciate. Find a minute to say hi to somebody you haven't said hi to in a while that you kind of miss, because you never know what tomorrow's going to bring. You really don't. I'm not going to get morbid. Life is good. Life honestly is good for me. And I hope life is good for you guys out there. So there you go. There's my book tour. And any questions, any concerns, leave them in the comments below. I will be glad to answer them or create another video and go on and on and on about something else. So you guys all stay safe, take care, and know that I appreciate y'all.